A bronze race of mortals once inhabited the earth. They were arrogant and cruel, and they were disrespectful to the deathless gods. Zeus, who delights in thunder, heard rumors of their behavior and vowed that if these rumors were true, he would destroy this race, so that he could evaluate for himself how religious, righteous, and law-abiding mortal man actually was. Zeus decided to travel over the earth in disguise of a humble mortal. Zeus, as a humble traveler, wandered south past the mountains in Arcadia, which are known for their wild beasts, past Mount Cyllene, where his son Hermes of the Golden Wand was born, and into the pine forests of Lycaon. As dusk drew on the dew-covered chariot of Nynx, the humble traveler entered Lycaon's palace. Lycaon was the king of Arcadia, and the father of 50 sons. Zeus had heard rumors that these were the most arrogant and disrespectful mortal men on the face of the earth. Now, he would see for himself if these rumors were true. It was time for the evening meal, when the humble travelers entered the great assembly hall, and Lycaon had gathered his extensive family about him for the festive occasion. Upon finding an uninvited stranger in their midst, and a humble one at that, King Lycaon met the stranger with hostility. He questioned him even before he fed him, which had not been the socially accepted practice in Greece among earlier races of man. "Who are you, and what do you want here?" he roared. "I am one of the deathless Olympian gods," the humble traveler responded. "I have come down to Arcadia from the mountains in the north. I seek hospitality in the name of the far-seeing Zeus, who is the protector of strangers and beggars." At this, Lycaon looked at the traveler and grinned. Then his scornful laughter revealed what he thought of the prosperous assertion. "We will determine whether you are immortal as you say you are," he responded. "From your appearance it seems more likely that you share our mortal destiny. However, I invite you to share part of our meal with us." While his 50 sons and their many wives and children looked on expectantly, Lycaon announced to one of the attending servants, "Bring forth that young Arcadian boy." When the child was brought forth, bound, the king slit his throat, and then cut him up into many pieces. He had certain pieces of flesh boiled, and the other pieces broiled over the blazing flames of the hearth. Then he had cooked flesh and the mutilated fragments of bone laid upon a platter and served along with the rest of the meal. "Oh, we shouldn't forget to sacrifice to the immortal gods, should we?" Lycaon exclaimed, as he gave the observant stranger a humorous glance. "We'd better do this before we eat, so just be patient, everyone," he requested. "It won't take long." Lycaon, having been educated in the religious customs, called for a cow. When the servant brought one, Lycaon slit its throat, dismembered it, and roasted the meat. Then he whispered directions to another of the servants, who left the room, and returned immediately with a bowl filled of body organs. Lycaon took the roasted flesh, mixed the heart, liver, pancreas, and other organs among the meat, and set the platter down before the humble stranger. He knew that if the strange guest were a god, as he proclaimed himself to be, he would not touch this sacrifice. Lycaon had composed it as a test of the guest's true identity. The organs provided the clue. If the humble stranger were truly an Olympian god, then he would recognize the organs as those of a mortal. In this case, one of Lycaon's own grandchildren. If not, he would not be able to recognize the source of the morsels once they had been chopped and mixed with the chunks of meat. As soon as Lycaon placed the sacrifice in front of his humble guest, he announced, "This portion is for Zeus, Lord of Olympus, and the other deathless gods. May they eat heartily and well as we sit down to our own fragrant food." The stranger regarded the sacrifice on the platter before him. With complete contempt, the royal family had forgotten his presence as its members ravenously attacked the food upon their own tables. They did not feel that this fuss over a stranger should have delayed their meal. Therefore, in their attention to their own food, they did not witness the transformation that was occurring only a few feet from them. By the time they felt the tremendous heat of the blinding white light, it was too late to escape. Zeus suddenly overturned the feast and rocked the palace with the blast of an awesome thunderstorm. Lightning bolts struck the roof and walls, engulfing the palace in raging flames and killing every occupant except Lycaon. Terror-struck, Lycaon examined himself. He was suddenly aware that instead of running in the manner in which he was accustomed, he was using his arms as well as his legs. He found that no longer could stand upright. His skin and robes had become covered with long hairs of silver and grey. As he licked his dry lips, he could see a longer, more pointed tongue. He had become a wolf. The terrible stranger had avenged Lycaon's ridicule and cruelty. Yet, in many ways, Lycaon had not changed at all. His eyes still sparkled, although in a narrower space. His mouth still grinned maculously. He continued to slaughter beasts in his bloodthirsty, furious way, delighting as much in killing his prey as in eating it. Thus the Lord of Olympus avenged upon one family fate that the whole human family at the time deserved. Mortal man had become monstrous and was guilty of unmatched evils. As Zeus, who delights in thunder, returned to Mount Olympus, he brought about mortal man's inhumanity to his fellow man and his disrespect for his gods. The thought of Lycaon's royal family rekindled his wrath. Feelings of rage and vengeance overcame his sighs of sorrow and pity. Foreseeing Zeus was to seal the fate of this human man.
Moo!
Wow. Alright, do that again. Do it again. Do it again.
Oh my god, so good.
Do it again.
Just like, I'll do a look.
Very nice.
I like you.
Oh, you need your...
Kinda cool.
No lie, I got 1,200 snapbacks.